At this point in the class, it's easy to get lost in all the content, skills, and assignments that you've done so far. The purpose of this video is to help you focus your studying of AP World History. I'm going to share two strategies, Appositives and Annotations, that will be very effective in helping you prepare for class exams and the AP exam in World History Modern you'll take in May. So you've learned a lot so far. You've been reading a lot of primary and secondary sources or got some direct instruction from your teacher, and now it's time to study for an AP test. How to even begin? Well, I'm going to point you back once again to those topic pages I've been talking about in previous videos. These organize the tasks and content you need to know in this class. Your teacher has a copy of all these in a big notebook, and I put the link to the topics once again in the description to this video below. The first strategy for aligning what you know with these topics is learning how to write sentences with a grammatical tool called appositives. So what is an appositive? It's words or a clause that bring in additional information about a noun, and in this class, that noun is a piece of historical evidence. Here are some examples of them based on the content that we've learned so far in class. You've learned about Mansa Musa, the first major West African leader to go on the Hajj. Neo-Confucianism, a spiritualized form of Confucianism that became popular during the Song dynasty. And caravanserai, inns along the Silk Road that provided safety for merchants. So you see, beyond all these fancy grammatical terms, it's a pretty easy thing to understand. An appositive is a description or clause that advances the identification of the noun, and it's usually framed in the sentence with a pair of commas. So far, this is nothing spectacular. It's kind of like what's written on the back of flashcards, or the answer to all those Quizlet words that you think will actually help you on the AP test. But that's not enough for this class. We're going to craft single sentences that use appositives to demonstrate your knowledge of evidence and take it one step further to connect it to the topic pages. These sentence structures in AP World Modern would look like this: the noun or piece of historical evidence followed by the appositive and then the significance of that evidence. So what is the significance? And this is crucial. It's the connection back to the topic page. Let's look at our examples again. Mansa Musa, the first major West African leader to go on the Hajj, plugged Mali into the major Islamic trade networks of the 14th century. Do you see how this steers the historical facts you've learned back to the way it's specifically referenced on the topic page? And here is topic 2.4. You learned about Mansa Musa in the previous video on Islam, but that wasn't just so you could memorize his name. It was to understand that he was involved in the expansion of empires, Mali in particular, and that brought new people into networks of trade. That's the goal. You see the same thing with Neo-Confucianism. Neo-Confucianism, a spiritualized form of Confucianism that became popular during the Song dynasty, spread from China into neighboring Korea and Japan. Again, we're learning evidence in a specific context. The appositive ensures that we know what the term means, and the rest of the sentence connects it to the topic page, which in this case is topic 1.1. Neo-Confucianism is an illustrative example of how China's culture spread to other regions of Asia, and this sentence structure does exactly that. The next example you've already seen in the last video on paragraph construction. Caravanserai, inns along the Silk Roads that provided safety to merchants, increased trade by reducing some of the risks involved in travel. Remember in the previous video, we supported a claim about the growth of trade networks with two pieces of evidence, caravanserai and paper money, and both used appositives to support the analysis that supported the claim. Knowing definitions is necessary, but not sufficient in understanding history or making arguments about it. Do you see how writing sentences with this simple grammatical tool helps you take all that content you've learned that's spinning around in your head and makes it cognitively stick to the structure of the course? The assignments you'll do with appositives consist of sentence completions in which you'll have to provide one or two elements of the sentence structure we've been talking about. In some cases, I'll provide the noun or the evidence, and others I'll provide the appositive or both. But in every case, you'll have to demonstrate the significance by connecting the content back to the language of the topic pages. In a single sentence, you'll demonstrate your knowledge of the content, its significance in AP World History, and learn how to write more focused, succinct sentences. The second strategy for preparing for tests in this class is by actually annotating the topic pages themselves. If it helps you, it could be a good idea to turn the learning objective into a question, then write a short explanation in the margin to make the connection explicit. This is similar to the significance part of the appositive exercise, connecting it back. The students who did a thorough job on these last year saw a significant increase in the unit tests in this class. Here's an example of what one of the best ones looked like. This student made an A on this assignment, and as you can see, did a fantastic job. Between appositive sentence completions and annotations, you'll cover the topic pages from a major time period before we take any major exams in class. Speaking of tests, I might add that this way of studying and reviewing the content parallels how the AP exam is created. The writers of the test are actually looking at the same things you have here. Questions come in sets, where you have to read a text or look at an image and answer questions related to it. In this example, Marco Polo is complaining about the household culture of people living in Central Asia, and he recommends that people simply stay in a caravanserai. Now, you have to know what a caravanserai is, and that's where the appositive comes in, and its significance, or how it's connected to topic 2.1, the Silk Roads. In this case, the answer is rather explicit. If you review this way in AP World History Modern, you'll know how to make arguments with historical evidence and be well prepared for exams and the assessment items of the AP test. Look for a video soon that explains the multiple choice section of the exam in great detail and will help you out with some proven strategies for taking on those questions. We'll see you next time.